Bridgerton characters have constantly given fans crazy moments that are very hard to forget, and we aren't just talking about the romantic parts. However, these compilations of iconic moments from Bridgerton will remind you of why you fell in love with the show. The Bridgerton siblings are so special in their own little ways that they do some funny things unexpectedly that viewers don't see coming at all.
Have you ever visited a farm?
No.
It's so funny why Benedict would go for Colin just like that without any warning while smiling at the same time. Even Eloise jumped up immediately as the moment caught her in surprise too. Amongst the siblings, Benedict can be very goofy and wild, and he gets even worse when he's high.
Have you noticed, Cole? The twinkle of the candles. It's as if we sit among the stars.
What is wrong with you? See it in decades.
Oh.
Benedict, dear.
He had to spill the drinks on the table. That was really amusing even to himself. Despite not being his season yet, Benedict has been giving fans a lot to talk about, and he's not going to stop anytime soon, just like he won't stop trying to get high.
And the devil. Oh, that's bad.
That opium powder Benedict added to his tea is just similar to the type that's illegal and highly addictive in modern days. It's extracted from a plant and only rich people can afford it. And it's crazy how Benedict never hides any of these from his family, which is another reason fans love him. And the moment Daphne gave the viewer something they never knew about her was also very exciting.
No one wants you, Miss Bridgerton.
What are you doing?
Find out soon enough.
Stop it! Let go of me!
Fans never knew that the eldest Bridgerton daughter had it in her to take perfect care of annoying men like Nigel. Even Simon was impressed with that particular skill, as Daphne showed that she wasn't just a princess who needed rescuing. The characters in Bridgerton, especially Anthony and Simon, can be so passionate about the cause they are fighting for. But not at the expense of the someone they are both trying to protect, and it's so emotional how Daphne showed up and almost got shot in the process. However, it was such an important moment in the love story of Daphne and Simon. There's no talking about the Duke and Duchess without touching on their most precious moment that totally broke the internet and made more people drawn to Bridgerton.
One is angry.
When one burns for someone who does not feel the same.
You burn for me.
Why do you think I followed you into that garden?
Why do you think I went into that garden?
And it was even crazier when Daphne returned the energy.
It is you I cannot sacrifice. I burn for you.
This scene was so crazy that many fans started to go crazy over the couple, especially Simon, and the words, language, and emotions are just forever great. Also, the Bridgerton family can be talented in unusual things.
Doesn't he? Except the clasp is broken.
Is it?
And it's so effortless how he unclasped the necklace in that very short, iconic moment. Funnily enough, he used his left hand to get it done. And it's such a telltale sign of the way he would be easily taking off items from Penelope.
Go on then. Chastise me.
Spare one for me?
Wow, Benedict is easily the least judgmental of all the siblings because deciding to share with Eloise instead of speaking to her harshly is so sweet. It also explains how Benedict does whatever he likes because he wants others to be able to do the same too, but then Eloise can barely help it when it comes to returning the favor.
Should I not have a friend? I'm not bound by the rules of society. Please do not tell Mother.
You can't really blame Eloise for freezing up. Benedict does the weirdest thing based on the strict rules that were in place in that era. But then, they are the closest siblings to watch out for in the show, as they do the most fascinating things for each other.
And where did you meet her?
About town.
At a shop?
Should you not be off somewhere getting ready to attend your very first ball?
However, the way Eloise became so obsessed with learning more about Benedict's unusual friend, Madame Delacroix, and how Benedict decided to shut her up is just so ridiculous.
Come, sister. The cakes at these occasions are surprisingly good.
Benedict is so thoughtful. The way he immediately rescued Eloise from dancing was just so fascinating, and it was the best help Eloise had wished for all day. Interestingly, he doesn't back down when it's time to banter Eloise.
But you hope so. It will be a boon to have another intelligent woman in the house.
Another? You're overcounting.
You really need to give it to him for being versatile. One moment, he's saving Eloise, and another, he's throwing shades at her.
Go dance with your sister. Why? Because I asked you to.
Also, see how Benedict can also be unpredictable. He could save Eloise, but felt absolute disgust at the thought of dancing with Daphne. It's so precious how the Bridgerton siblings make every little moment iconic, whether it's an awkward or embarrassing scene.
If one of you utters a single word, this gets over with.
Even Eloise knew she looked funny walking out with the feather cap on her head, and the way they were all staring at her was beyond silly. The expressions on all of their faces make their family even more interesting. They are really each other's nemesis.
You shall all bear witness to my talent!
It's the middle of the night.
He will be as insufferable now as you.
Me? I'm honored to accept your acceptance.
You think it will last much longer?
Benedict has always taken his art classes seriously more than anything, but this moment was a turning point for him. And the way he went screaming out to the neighbors in the night was another crazy part. Eloise might be looking at Benedict like a crazy clown. Still, they are more alike than she would ever know, which is why they get along with each other easily.
It is a delightful ball, Your Majesty. Very diamondy. Though I must admit, I'm more of an emerald person myself.
It's entertaining how the queen kept looking at Eloise in wonder mixed with disappointment. At the same time, Benedict has this funny look on his face in the background as he is trying hard not to laugh.
Daphne! You must make haste!
Should you think she heard me?
And that's Eloise again, bringing on her drama in a different but unique way, which makes even more sense as to why she's closer to Benedict. Many may have forgotten, but Eloise is more troublesome than you can imagine.
Come and see the baby, Eloise.
Why has he changed since I saw him last?
Such a blunt response from Eloise is so legendary. This shows her character even more. She's not interested in marriage or children. She wouldn't even play with her nephew. But then our girl fell in love.
And so I am wondering, you might also have thoughts of me when you think.
Oh, Eloise, whoever thought a day like that would come? The fact that it didn't matter who she fell in love with was the most important thing, as they both shared the same interest and belief in a similar cause. Also, Eloise meeting Theo was a life-changing event for her. Even if he never shows up again, he really did make a lasting impression on Eloise.
And I had Mrs. Farley forge a signature on a document stating that as soon as one of my girls has a son, the estate shall pass to them.
You are cruel.
I am a mother.
That iconic moment definitely changed many fans' opinions about Lady Portia Featherington. She was initially not liked, especially because of how she treated her girls and pushed them to find a man who could turn their lives around. Interestingly, her character development towards the end of season 2 showed another side of her, a struggling mother who would do anything to protect her children.
Lord Featherington, what are you doing in a room with my unchaperoned daughter?
I found Prudence in here. Neither of us
Don't
were.
blame her. She is but an innocent girl.
You can't really blame viewers for not understanding her ways because it's truly laughable for her to set them up and bring witnesses to force them to marry. What's even crazier is that Prudence and her mama are so alike.
Oh. Oh my. Oh, I would be delighted to marry you, Cousin Jack. Yes.
The way Prudence immediately caught her mom's plans and quickly went along with them, to the surprise of Penelope on the side, was so exciting to see. That scene easily explains the Featheringtons and their special means of surviving. Also, the Featheringtons have always had a few supporters around their family who want to see them triumph over their challenges in the show. And no, we aren't just talking about Colin here.
It is rather clever the way she uses plant puns to belittle.
Clever indeed.
See how Penelope was so happy to claim the compliment given to Lady Whistledown. She literally felt seen in that moment. And it's such a delight the way Philippa's husband, Mr. Finch, unknowingly supports Penelope and the Featherington family in general. The character seems underrated, but he's been doing the most in terms of emotional support for this family. When everyone tries to distance themselves from the Featheringtons, Mr. Finch is right there with them and doesn't even mind spending more than enough time in their house. Also, even though he was allergic to flowers, he didn't mind getting them to show his love and affection. In the Bridgerton 3 trailer, when Penelope was making a grand entrance, while everyone else looked at her in surprise, only Mr. Finch had a bright smile on, which means he always knew Pen had it in her. Growing up, Simon didn't want an heir, which was sad, but it was even more painful to watch what he endured as an innocent little boy. And the confident Simon everyone fell in love with didn't just happen overnight because it took a great intervention from Lady Danbury.
Speak. I understood you well enough, and I will help you to overcome this stammer of yours.
Her speech to the young Simon and how she stepped up to rescue him was a big emotional moment in the series that showed the other side of her that had been there all along. Speaking about the emotional moments in Bridgerton that are truly iconic, Queen Charlotte's Georgian-era clothes also have some very deep meanings behind them. The show was set in the Regency era, but Queen Charlotte was still very comfortable in her Georgian outfits, mainly because she didn't like the Regency-era outfit. But then, there's another fascinating meaning behind it, which is the fact that Queen Charlotte was stuck with the dresses because she didn't want to confuse George. They are in a different era, but George might not understand because of his mental breakdown. Also, the Georgian era represents the best moments the Queen had with her husband, and it just makes sense for her to keep living in that era. So, in some ways, Charlotte and George were both dwelling in the past. Then, some fiery moments in Bridgerton make a lot of difference no matter how you look at it.
Is it not Bridgerton? Woo!
Refreshing indeed. Come now, it is not proper to stare.
That moment was very teasing and special, as the two sisters couldn't even get the picture of Anthony soaked in water out of their minds. Even viewers can't seem to forget that moment in a hurry. It might be short, but the impact was felt.
Have I done something to you? Why is it that you dislike me so?
Because you vex me.
Oops, that was another funny moment where Kate and Anthony are trying so hard to find displeasing words to express their passionate desires for each other. It's really insane how they fought so hard to get over themselves so as not to hurt Edwina, which was very unavoidable.
Your character is as deficient as your horsemanship. I shall bid you good night.
You can't really deny there's a tiny bit of hatred in their relationship though, because Kate was always out to get him and Anthony is always too helpless, which is so iconic for them both, as they are just the right match for each other.
But I am leaving for India.
And it is not far enough. Do you think that there is a corner of this earth that you could travel to far away enough to free me from this torment?
With their madness over each other, even distancing themselves wouldn't solve it. Anthony never lacks the right way to express his emotions, even when Kate offers to travel back home.
I'm afraid that is not possible, not when I have a victory lap to enjoy.
These two are just too adorable with their special and never-ending fascination with each other, even before they officially knew themselves.
Did you tell the Viscount about your bee sting?
I got stung.
Oh.
What a sad reality for Edwina, who was standing in the middle of these two. She was still nice and wanted Anthony to be updated, but the way Kate told him and his response was just too hilarious. You won't believe what they did when Edwina left them just for a moment.
The other morning.
When I was stung.
After which you put my hand to your bosom.
To show you I was unharmed, you were overcome.
Indeed, I was not.
You were the one who then looked at me.
You looked at me.
Not in the way that you did.
And how exactly did I look?
Kate and Anthony just kept having occasions that were setting them up for more friction, which was so delightful for the fans to see. Every one of their special moments was a journey that the viewers absolutely enjoyed, as they kept giving one iconic moment after the other. Anthony is just so weird. The way he literally worships everything about Kate is so enticing, and the fact that he loses himself over her is crazy, as it doesn't matter who's watching. By that time, they were already caught, so hiding was no longer an option, and there was absolutely nothing Anthony could want at that moment other than sniffing Kate's scent. And the reason why Anthony is so shameless when it comes to Kate will give you shivers, as another iconic moment reveals that he doesn't play about her.
You are the bane of my existence. And the object of all my desires.
Bridgerton knows how to put down the perfect words to describe Anthony's feelings in that scene, because that's one iconic statement that will never grow cold.
I have come bearing grim news today.
Getting a reveal of Philip Crane in season 1 was another crazy moment in the show. He might look like a minor character, especially with how he left after marrying Marina Thompson, but he will be back, and the Bridgerton book lovers already know why. However, seeing his face in season 1 was a special moment, and fans can't wait to see more of him.
I am a woman.
You are Pen. You do not count. You're my friend.
It might not look like it, but Colin telling Penn he doesn't see her as a woman was just the biggest fatality ever in that show. The words are so strong that people could borrow them to destroy someone's confidence. And yes, it's an iconic moment that shows Penn isn't the type of woman he would normally go for. However, no woman wants to hear that, not especially Penn. Funnily enough, Penn never seems to get a break, as another moment in the show with her best friend shattered the only meaningful relationship in her life.
What a keen observation, Penn.
Ever since they've been friends, Penelope has chatted carelessly with Eloise, and it always sounded like normal friendship gossip. But after being suspected of being Lady Whistledown herself, Eloise was finally able to catch Penn as the famous gossip writer, and that scene was the most heartbreaking part of season 2 because both of them were hurt and had valid reasons to be. When fans thought Bridgerton had stolen all the special moments and insane monologues a romantic show could ever have, they showed up with their spin-off series, Queen Charlotte, which has come to add to the famous moments from the franchise.
Turn the carriage around. I am not doing this.
I signed the betrothal contract. You are doing this.
No.
Yes.
Brother, turn the carriage around or I will bounce. I will bounce, and I will impale myself on this ridiculous corset and bleed to death.
Charlotte!
Although Charlotte was reluctant to have been made to marry someone she had never seen before, that moment between herself and her brother was so interesting to see. Fans have realized Charlotte has had a sharp mouth ever since she was young.
Well-read, artistic, athletic.
We can discuss the order of the matrimonial ceremony, Your Highness.
Is he ugly? Perhaps deformed in some way, because beauty is inside. Well, it is certainly not inside.
Just to be sure, Queen Charlotte wouldn't back down from finding out more about the man she was to marry. Funnily enough, George is lucky to have been good looking, because Charlotte would have dragged him mercilessly if he looked like the things she had been assuming. And she honestly didn't mind making her mind known.
Are you in need of assistance of some kind?
I am quite fine, thank you. You can go back inside and wait with all the other Gawkers.
Oh no, there's simply no one Charlotte can't put in their place. Also, George was already in love with how real and insightful her mannerisms were.
Have you no sense? It is treasonous to interrupt my beauty sleep. You're lucky my face is a rare jewel.
Your Majesty.
If I could still have people beheaded, you would be in the queue.
Queen Charlotte being feisty and reminding everyone that she's the queen every time they bother her is so iconic. And she also never misses a chance to let them know she could have taken their life just by being a nuisance to her. Even pets didn't have it easy with her.
What is that?
That is the gift from the King, Your Majesty.
But what is it?
I think it is a dog, Your Majesty.
That is a deformed bunny.
That innocent pet just got caught in the crossfire between the king and queen, and even though it's sad to see Charlotte being constantly angry at the king's distance, it's also great how there's always humor in whatever she says. The moment George and Charlotte finally got to confront each other was one of the biggest takeaways of the series.
I cannot. We cannot. This conversation isn't. I cannot do
you
this.
love me?
I never wanted to marry.
Love me?
Charlotte, please stop.
Is it because you do not believe that I could love you?
Although their romantic life was never constant, that famous encounter they had was a life-changing moment that Charlotte held on to when George wasn't doing well. No love story had ever been easy in the history of Bridgerton, but Queen Charlotte set the tone by showing the world an even greater meaning of love.